Welcome to another chapter of In the Keep podcast. I'm your very own prophet of the drowned god, the Motherlode. This show is all about the world of arena first-person shooters, classic FPS games, their legacies, their lineage, and the people who keep that world turning. These are the players, the developers, the streamers, the influencers. It is the will of the drowned god Cathal that our communities band together in her cathedral to frag and give one another into oblivion for all eternity. Hot damn, y'all. Episode number 10 of In the Keep podcast. You believe that? We've been putting them out consistently, 1st and 15th. We're doing it. Made it to the double digits. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm joined this episode by a very special guest. We're talking to John, BPS Sednert, of the QuakeWorld fame. I mean, I don't know. Do I have to introduce him to you? He's won every event that's ever been conceived of, I think. So, held the Warzone trophy. Just recently won the duels at Hammer Time. Been to DreamHack, QuakeCon. Every mode you can think of, he's played it. He's succeeded in it. He's just one of the best. Amazing person, dude. Like, who else is like BPS? I mean, he's had his hand in everything to do with the QuakeWorld community. Like, if you've ever been on the QuakeWorld wiki, like, his hand was in that. The QuakeWorld.nu, been in that. The QuakeWorld Discord, he's been in that. And I really enjoyed my chance to sit down and, kind of pick his brain and see, like, how, he's been doing this forever. And how he's been a huge part of keeping the European community in QuakeWorld. And we're over here in America, joined efforts of people like Messiah and myself and, Dump Truck. All these guys just, keeping QuakeWorld going in many different ways, many different times. But we're trying to revitalize it in North America. And I really wanted to see, like, well, what are they doing that we're not? And very much enjoyed this conversation. I will say you probably won't hear it, but seemed like there was a black helicopter hovering around, so I don't know what kind of shady shit BPS you're into, man. Just kidding, but just keep that in mind as we listen through. If there's any pauses or anything, it's just trying to avoid any helicopter noise. Yeah. Also, before we get into it, I just wanted to say there is some really cool music I put into this bad boy. It was given to us by a guy named Greg Simon, aka Kryzar, if you find him in the Keep. And you can check him out on YouTube. I'll leave links. If you like this track, you can click on his YouTube link and go check out more of the stuff he's done. So, without any further ado, let's get in the Keep with BPS.
Hello, this is BPS. My name is John Sednert, and this is me. This is my voice speaking to you. What should I say? I'm a Quake guy since the beginning, or not really since the beginning. We can dig into that, but these days I am, and I've been since the millennia at least a really active Quake 1 player.
So, according to the wiki, you spawned first in 1998.
All right.
I don't know if that's true. But
I guess it is. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the first contacts with Quake was in school, and I started playing it in the school classrooms and stuff like that. So I can't really call that when I spawned. Or maybe I can, and that should be earlier than 98. So maybe 97 or 6. I don't know. Anyway,
I guess what people will want to be hearing is, how did you get into Quake? You said you started off a little bit in classrooms. I know. I guess culturally that's pretty normal in Sweden. Like Loktar had a similar story. I actually started playing Quake in the school classroom, but opposite side of the world. What is it about Quake that so inspires you, that's kept you sitting at that desk for this long, man?
I mean, initially what really started it for me was, I think Loktar had a similar story about his classroom experience. I mean, when you had computer class for an hour and the teacher left, he wasn't very present. So we could do anything, and everyone, of course, downloaded the shareware, and we started giving the shareware maps at the time. So we almost only played E1M7, the boss map, of the first episode, and it was free for all on that map, and everybody sucked, and it was so much Gibbs, and it was so much fun, and I remember learning this really quickly, so I quickly became better than the others, and it was such a frag fest. I couldn't shake off the smile off my face while playing that, and that was when I really found the love with the game initially.
And
But
go ahead.
yeah, back in the time, I had no clue where it would take me, so to speak. I mean, it was just for the fun of it at that time, and I mean, later on, a couple of friends of mine, we heard about the clans and stuff. So there was rumors about it, but I wasn't a very tech savvy guy at the time. So I kind of only heard, rumors. You can do this command. I actually remember my first console connect. That was like, I was like 14, 15 years and got, I got it on a note, written hand paper, connect, and it was an IP address after. And after typing that into the console, pressing enter, I was so amazed. First time entering on a server, I almost fell off the chair. And that was like constantly new things popping up in Quake. The concept of clans, the concept of rankings. And at that time, I remember there was so many mods and stuff. All the servers were different. It was just an endless resource of fun.
I guess the first thing you said was that you don't want to talk about modern AFPS games. So let's talk about Diabolical for a few hours.
No, let's do that.
No kidding. No, I guess what I'm really interested in with you is I did a lot of research, obviously. I always do. And I was watching a video of you being interviewed in QHLan like 2011 for like, I don't know if it was TV or what. It was very professionally shot, but I was like kind of captivated. Like my wife was kind of getting mad at me because I was hogging up the TV watching it. There are a few people I've ever listened to speak more passionately about Quake. You spoke so concisely about how this is not just a game to me. You said this is not something that is just going to be like, oh, it was a silly game or a sport that we played. This is like part of my life. And when you said, when I'm 80 years old in a retirement home, I'll still be thinking about the fun that I had doing this and like the people that I've met and the frags and everything. Like I thought that was such a nice sentiment. And I'd like to get you to elaborate a little more if you could, just to talk about, I don't know, what I guess, why are you so passionate about this? Because you're everywhere, man. You're in the Discord. You've got am I incorrect in to say that you are helping out or a large part of QuakeWorld.nu?
Yeah, I don't. It's not incorrect. I'm an admin there. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you document everything. You're absolutely incomparable to anyone else that I could think of as far as like a passion for Quake it's like have you ever heard the phrase, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Doesn't ring a bell actually.
So it's like a philosophical thing. It's people talk about that in philosophy class. It's like one of those very simple questions that they ask you, but it's like, okay, so a tree falls down in the forest, no one hears it, and they're like, does it make a sound? If Quake happens and no one knows that it's happening, it's not going to live on forever. But because of people like you, it will, in my opinion, because of all the events and the documentation and the videos. I was just watching you at Hammer Time, like I think 2 months ago, and it's all on YouTube, and that's important. People, they're like, oh, it's not important, but like if you want this to get passed on to the next generation, that's how they're going to find it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I think you've done great, man.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so where to direct this discussion? I mean, initially in the earlier years, it was mostly for the fun of it, just exploring, experimenting, meeting a lot of friends, and that was very, very funny. Although I had a lot of real life friends in the younger days, very many of them. So the Quake friends were like, the cyber friends you never really met. You never really put weight to that kind of friendship. But everything in my Quake life has evolved from just a toy to a big part of my life, and that means friendships, big part. Seriousness. I've taken it much more serious lately, and the whole thing of realizing that it actually means something to me more than just wasting my time. Because as you mentioned, legacy and stuff, I mean, this is a big part of my life, and I cannot see the end of it. The end of it would be nobody else playing, I guess. That then I would like take a walk down memory lane watching demos and stuff. But I mean, I still do it for the people playing it, of course. And it never was like anybody urged me to do stuff or anybody required me to be admin of some league or something like that. It's always been my own initiative and my passion to make it better, because I think it's such an underdeveloped thing, underdeveloped clients, underdeveloped community. It could be so much greater than it actually is. It's already great, but I can see it 10 times better. I envision things that for example, let's have leaderboards, let's have rankings, better stats pages. I see a lot of different things. And so I have a lot of visions in my head about how to make this community better. And one of them spawned into the wiki, which I initiated and made better, or at least themed it better, and we updated and put a lot of effort into making that better. So there's a lot of various projects that has spawned. They just pop up as they come, and I just do it as I like, and I like the freedom of that, doing whatever I want to do at the given time. As compared to day work, I mean, that is work, but this is total freedom.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the great contrast of it all.
I feel like, I do have, everyone pretty much has a day job. Not all of us are making our living playing Quake or anything, but when I get home from work, most people are like, oh, I'm so exhausted, I don't want to do anything. I was like, for me, I see 10 more hours of work sitting in front of me, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels like this is my passion, whether that be, administrating, planning our events or putting the podcast together, reaching out, networking with people like you. And I've talked to so many interesting people just because I sit here and drink beer and I'm having fun, like just reaching out to people and being like, hey, would you be interested in being on this podcast? And I don't see it as like I don't know, I guess it can come across as like some people have podcasts and they're like trying to promote their own name. To me, this is like, I'm trying to do a service for the arena shooter community. Like that's what I want, is to give back. And you've done more than anyone I could possibly think of for that. And the only rival you have is maybe like Messiah and Nationwide Moose in America are really kicking ass and revitalizing QuakeWorld specifically in North America. And hopefully we get tournaments planned soon so we can not be falling behind. I think that's a huge travesty that North America has completely fell off the grid for QuakeWorld. There was a long period of time where we'd try to boot up into a server and all we could do was try to play on your guys' servers with really high ping. And that was such a disappointing time. And I'm really glad that that's starting to come back. We see more community servers, more community events, and we want to be part of the game. And it's not like a competition of like, oh, we got to beat the Europeans, but it's got to, like, we have a responsibility as Quake fans to uphold the community at least as much as you're doing. And that's a tall order, man, because, like I said, no one's given more, really, than you have. I'm sure you could name off a bunch of other contributors that are like, oh, yo, this guy helped me. I couldn't have done it without him. I'm telling you, my opinion, you're a top dog, and you should pat yourself on the back for that.
Thanks, man. Nice words. I almost blushing over here.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't see myself as that big a contributor as you say, because there's so many other guys
Hmm.
doing the hard work while I'm doing the visionary work. So I just spit out ideas and stuff,
You're the
spawn things.
mastermind. Like there's
Some yeah, maybe something like that. Many friends of mine call me like the spider in the web, connecting people.
ooh,
You know, people are so afraid of communicating with each other. So
yeah.
I ask someone, what do you need help with? And he says his problem, and I said, you should talk to him and just connect them, and then the problem gets solved. There's so little effort for much result.
Let's put it like this: if the Quake community were Voltron, you're the head.
Yeah,
If the Quake
sure.
community were a computer, you're the CPU.
Okay.
Like you're
I
the
like
one
that.
you're the one everything runs through you essentially. Like that's great, man.
Wow. It's an over exaggeration, but all right, I love it.
All right. So I guess you talked a little bit how you wanted to get into weapons and configs and things like that. I'm really interested in a lot of. I I've talked to many different people. There are many different opinions on how a QuakeWorld config should be. Obviously, it's user preference, but can you walk us through a little bit of your configs, like your plus fires, your what your sensitivity is, DPI, things like that? What do you
All right,
recommend? Maybe if you don't want to pass your exact configs on.
I could pass my config on, but yeah, I play pretty standard looking Quake to what many others have. You know, the Lego looking one, big block Quake. So no special settings about that. I play with pretty low FOV, 105,
Mm.
which is some. I mean, most players are around 110 to 120, I guess. Also, I play with very low sensitivity. Maybe not the lowest around, but I think it's like 20 centimeters for 360.
Yeah.
So that's why from where I got my enormous biceps by swinging the mouse so hard. That was a bad joke. So that's my basics. Otherwise, I'm these days getting known by my strange HUD because I'm one of the few that I know of that use a custom HUD
Mm.
painted, like an image overlaying, and then the numbers and stuff on that. I haven't seen anyone else using that.
Is that the HUD that was used in the recordings of Hammer Time?
I think not. No.
Okay, I like that one too, but I'd like to see yours.
So
Thoughts?
and that was. I'm just gonna. Some nights I just tired of playing, and I end up fiddling with some commands, checking what the commands are in the client, and then there's something called HUD group picture. What is that? And starting exploring that and seeing, there's support for images in the HUD. I didn't even realize, because there isn't really a changelog, because there isn't really a communication from the developers to the wider audience about what has been released, what is possible with the client. So I stumbled upon this feature that you can use your own HUDs. And that, and then I immediately started thinking about other games' HUDs. And I've been playing other games like Dota 2, Dota 1, StarCraft, and so on. And in these games, especially Dota 2, I remember there's there's really nice HUDs in there. You can buy them on Steam and so on. But these HUDs are very inspiring to me, so I wanted to try to do my own Dota 2 looking HUD for Quake. And it's so simple to just Photoshop it. So I did. Actually, these days I'm thinking of revamping it, going back to it, because I remember doing it in half resolution, so it looks very pixelated and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes so much effort and time, and creating stuff. This is a paradox of mine, because my daytime job is a user experience designer. I create stuff all the time during daytime. At night, I just want to destroy and kill. So it's the perfect balance of harmony for me. So I rarely take the moments of creation at night. And when I do, it's something I really believe in. And it should how to put it, it should weigh heavier than to play another game of high level Quake, which is like the best I know of free time. Did that make any sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So essentially, what I got from that is that if it's worth not playing Quake over, which is, I mean, that's a tall order, then it's got to be pretty important. Yeah, absolutely. I struggle with the same thing, and it's not just Quake. It's like I play several different games that are all kind of in this arena blanket. But yeah, I'm like, I've had times where people are like, hey, do you want to play tonight? And I really want to play, but I feel like this. I don't know. It's like there's a drowned god called Cathala who talks to me into my ear, like and only I can hear her, and she's telling me like you must do everything you can to revitalize the Quake community and make arena shooters like, viable and give my word to everyone and get people together. And sometimes that means for me to sacrifice what would be my gaming time to to do this kind of stuff, which is to me it's just as fun, but it is worth it. If it weren't worth it, I wouldn't do it. I would just, sit here and click on my keyboard all day, which is fun. I mean,
yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. I feel just the same.
Yeah.
So there's some chopper landing outside here.
Oh,
should I mute myself?
I can't hear it. You're fine. Unless they're gonna come in your house and start shooting up military style, like. Which I mean,
it's a peaceful place.
I'll keep the video. I'll keep the video just in case it goes bad.
All right.
And I'll send it to the authorities. Oh, I wanted to ask you, what was the map texture pack that was used for the videos in QH, or not QHLan, and Hammer Time, the recent one? I really liked it. Was it the gray one? I'm not sure what it was. It was beautiful.
The map texture ones.
Yeah.
I need to look it up. I can do it while we talk, because I can't really. It wasn't a dedicated streamer. It was different persons streaming different games, so it's various textures.
Okay.
None of them springs to mind at this time.
Well, it's okay. You don't have to go through all that trouble. I'll just get with you after this and maybe see if I can find it or send you the video specifically, and you could tell me what the map pack is. I was just curious because for me, like if I'm going to be streaming our future events, I would really like the game to look as presentable and beautiful as possible, which I understand. When you're playing, a lot of people really want it to be low texture so they get the maximum possible FPS and everything and the best ability to see their opponent. But I also think that if we're going to reach out to a younger audience, the game needs to look gorgeous, and it can.
Yeah. All right, so I think you're referring to Miag's YouTube videos of it.
You versus Speedball.
I mean, it's Miyagi put together most of the games from Hammer Time and put them on YouTube, and it's his custom textures. I think they're lying around. I'm not playing with them, so I'm not really familiar with them. I know he is in charge of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we could publicize that, or you could get it to me, I'd really like to use that one because it's gorgeous. Like it's so pretty.
Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What else? Like, do you ever dabble in that? Do you ever get into like the mapping, texturing stuff, or do you just kind of let the community deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Sometimes, mostly like I don't like this color of this floor on my map, so I changed from stone floor to grass because it looks nicer. So I just go in and mod some colors of the walls or floors. So simpler texturing.
Yeah,
I could say. On the mapping side of things, I've been trying out the map editors and stuff, and of course Trench Broom, which is the modern one, is a really fun tool to use, easy to use. And I am having a secret map project of mine, which has been running in my head for 10 years. Yeah, I'm whispering now.
Yeah.
I won't reveal it, but I can reveal that it's been in my head for very long, and just a year ago or two, I started creating the map in Trench Broom, and it's almost finished now. But it's not just the map, and it generate, save, upload, play. It's not that. I mean, it's kind of it requires server changing, and then it requires. I want it to be used on a LAN setting. Whatever, it's too advanced to talk about it without spoiling. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. But I have a great plan for a map that will get revealed on a LAN in some future.
Okay. Speaking of maps, So I guess I am obviously fairly new to this, and I'm learning slowly. I got the big five down. What are the two new maps that have been introduced into competition? I've seen you
Are
guys
we
play them.
talking Duel now? Yeah.
Yeah, Duel. Yeah,
The two new maps would be Bravado,
Bravado. Okay.
yeah, and Skull. But these aren't really new.
Well,
Are you really saying too new? If you're referring to Hammer Time, it was like more maps than that. It was like 8 maps, wasn't it?
so there are
Um,
eight Duel maps now in competition.
yeah, so it's with Bravado, Skull, and Shifter,
Okay.
and that one would be the most recent of them.
Like I said, I'm a noob. Everybody knows that in the audience. So please give me shit as you see applicable. But I got to get this
Yeah,
stuff
no
down.
problem.
So
Yeah, they're really new. So, or at least Shifter is new. So I
yeah.
understand not many people know about it.
Okay. And do you have a preference? Do you like these maps? Like I know that you have been always one of the guys that's like people got upset even when ZTN and all that got introduced. But you were always like, why don't you just learn the fucking map and have the passion that you had when you were a kid when you first saw DM2? But I don't know. It's a conservative community. People have different opinions. Like, what's your opinion?
Both yes and no. I just hate some maps and I love others.
Yeah.
I'm mostly open to them. And regarding this Shifter map, I'm not sure what I'm thinking. It's pretty okay. It's very big for dueling, which is a bit not inspiring. But it's okay. I've had great games on it, especially against Speedball or NPH. So that's okay. The other two, like Skull, is an old map, but rarely played, and just recently taken into a map pool in a tournament. I think that's great because it's initially a very cool map layout, very very claustrophobic, very intense. You cannot let go of the mouse for a millisecond. I love that. It's very exhausting to play it though. But it's great that an old map comes back, and I like that concept. And the third one was Bravado, and that map I just love. Can't yeah maybe it has the base textures like the M3 and Airwalk. You know these brownish walls with
Yeah.
the bolts in them. Maybe it's the textures, maybe it's the layout, maybe it's the pace of it. I think a combination of them all. It fits my playstyle because it's very similar to like Airwalk, which would be my favorite dual map.
Right. I don't know. You have a very interesting style. I try to, try to watch a lot of your matches if I'm going to talk to you. Like, some people have like a plus forward, like they're really aggressive all the time kind of style. Like Locktar is a perfect example. Some people are like just like me personally, I'm like a hang back, kind of like sneak around. Maybe like
The
Kovac would be,
sniper.
yeah, was like that too. He just kind of snuck around. He'd like memorize ways to like not make sounds and trick people, that kind of thing. I like that gameplay for me. But you're so flexible, man. You can like turn on a dime from what I've seen.
That flexibly it would be a good way of describing
Yeah,
my playstyle. I think, yeah,
yeah,
because yeah, as you say, I shift. I don't want to be predictable, so I switch between speed and slow mo, and then dodging sounds. Just what you mentioned. So I think that's a great thing to do to confuse your opponent. So it's a good skill to have.
yeah. It
But
was a
it's very
big,
hard to decide when to attack,
yeah.
and yeah, it's classic.
QuakeWorld was a big learning curve for me because I had never played it. I'd played, Quake 3 and Quake Live, Quake Champions, all that stuff, plenty. And you can get away with a lot more sneaking in those games. QuakeWorld is so like the sound is QuakeWorld and Quake 2 both very differently, but both have like amazing sound quality. And it's so weird that it would be that old and have, but so in QuakeWorld you're silent until you drop on the ground, go down some stairs, shoot something, whatever. Like, and then if you hear a sound, you know exactly what direction it came from. That was such a big difference for me to learn. You can't get away with as much, and you could die in a couple of seconds. Where it's like usually it's like these long drawn out fights. You guys are, it's I see you, rocket, you're dead, back, or like 2 seconds of LG, like gone, you're dead. And it's the only game where you see scores like you see in QuakeWorld. Like that's mind boggling. But you've been doing it forever. Have you ever like I know you said like you don't want to talk about modern games, but have you ever experimented with other games and like noticed the difference? Like say I don't know Duke Match or Quake 3, anything like that.
Yeah, I played. Yeah, I played a lot of Quake 3.
Mm-hmm.
Never seriously, just yeah, played it. Liked it. Didn't love it, but liked it. It was a good game. Um, I played a lot of older FPS games like Duke Nukem
Yeah,
and those. Doom, of course. Quake 2 a bit of Quake Live as well. My opinion, I cannot tell the difference between Quake Live and Quake 3. That's how little I play them.
it's very subtle. Truly,
Yeah.
yeah,
The web login part, maybe. I'm not sure
yeah,
what the selling points of Quake Live was, but anyway, I never actually tried Quake Champions though, and
yeah.
I intend not to.
I don't blame you.
Um, I'm getting whispers about the Doom mod, which is what's it called? QC Doom Edition, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was playing that last night. It's very fun.
Yeah,
It's
they're saying
actually
it's the best. They're
it's
trying to lure me into that.
it's very fun. I mean, I don't want to like speak too disparagingly about Quake Champions. It's got its issues. I love it. I've always, been a supporter of it, but we'll see how it goes. QCDE is awesome. It's so much fun because it's just to me it's like a goof. I'm not like trying to play it competitively, but there's so much you can do in it, and it's basically the biggest complaint about Quake Champions is that it's on a shitty engine, right? Like people don't like the engine. I don't like the engine. Uh, but if you just take the same kind of like idea of gameplay and put it on a truly tested, perfected engine like the Doom engine, then it's all of a sudden everything works the way you want it to, and I like that. It was so I had amazing time playing duels with Smango like last night.
Sounds like the way to go.
Yeah,
Put a winning concept in a great engine.
I guess, and I like that you can. I mean, I'm sure there's all kind of copyright infringement all over it, but you could be any like '90s FPS hero. You could be Caleb. You could be Serious Sam. Whatever you want. It's got all the Quake stuff in it. It's awesome. You play a lot of
Awesome.
Doom like back in the day or at all?
Yeah, yeah. Mostly on LANs. I land a lot,
Mm,
and we played all kind of games like Delta Force, Battlefield One,
yeah.
2.
I,
I can't recall them all, but Battlefield actually, played a really a lot of hours into Battlefield 2. I love that edition.
yeah.
Uh, the squad games. It was so much less stressing than Quake, so it was like a vacation from Quake, having an hour in Battlefield. But I remember I was pretty good in that. We had a squad. We even competed at DreamHack in it. Anyway, it was long ago.
This could have like Team Suddendeath like be one of those big esports teams that have like every popular game they have a different team. That'd be really fucking weird. Like
Yeah,
Suddendeath at the Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever. Like fuck that, man. Nobody wants to see that shit. But you'd make a lot of money. You could probably like finance everything you ever wanted to do for Quake if you just like had a team that just blew the water out of Call of Duty or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's. I remember, like, was it 2007?
Mm-hmm.
We were recruited at DreamHack to one big gaming company, or was it? I'm not sure I should say their name because I'm gonna get some hard times here.
Right.
Uh, so it's one of the at the time bigger like organizations, and they came to us at DreamHack and said, "Do you want to play under our name and stuff?" So we joined them, and when I say we, I mean me, Loktar, Mave, Reppy, Goblin, Laxo. We like the team of us playing at the time. So we joined them, and it was they were giving us fairy tales about payments and deals and what we're gonna get and what we had to deliver and so on. And it was like, wow, is this really growing? Can we really earn money from QuakeWorld? That would be nice, and they sound reasonable. So we went for that. Eventually, it was not a scam, but I mean, they didn't do what they set out to do.
They didn't pay
So
up
we
that
kind of
cheddar, man. Gotta give you
gave
that
them
bread.
the finger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
but it
dirty
was
business.
yeah. I mean, maybe they were just optimistic about getting money in QuakeWorld. They were hoping more to gain more from it. I'm not sure.
Are you guys offering
Anyway,
up cash prizes or anything like at the lands or the big competitions at all?
back then or these days,
At all? Is it still is there money in Quake World? That's a good question to ask.
there's always money, but it's potato money. I
Yeah.
mean, there's those small amounts that's just almost funny, and it's oftentimes crowdfunded money. It's very small amounts, so but it's some kind of an incentive to play. It gives some seriousness to the competition, so it's always been around there. But it really hasn't grown much. Maybe the last years has actually the prize sums getting a bit larger. Maybe because of the sites for donations are getting easier to take, just donate random
PayPal.
amounts. Yeah, those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
yes,
you got to find like that right balance, right? Because on one hand, it's awesome to have some money if you win at a competition, you can take home I don't know however much money you think it's worth, but on the opposite side, and also production like is a huge cost of it. But to your credit and to everyone in the Quake World scene's credit, it's not about money. Obviously, it's about the passion for the game. So the top players are people who like just fucking love the game. They're not making their living off of it necessarily.
yeah,
But if you can make enough money to dedicate your entire career, like you didn't have to work, you didn't have to worry about anything else, you just played Quake and you were making money on it, I'd imagine there would be even more of a skill ceiling. Like there would just be so much more going into it, and there would be people that were just robots. It's the capitalism over production kind of idea of it, but I would be interested at least to see what someone who's getting paid, I don't know, even if it were $30,000 a year, whatever, like enough to get by, and all they do is
yeah.
play QuakeWorld 24/7, 365. Like holy shit, they'd be
It's an
like
interesting
recall.
thought. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're probably right. The ceiling would rise, but I'm not sure how much.
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Anyway, I recall we were at Dallas 2016 at the QuakeCon 20 years anniversary, and there was quite a huge prize sum at that time from was it Bethesda put in the money? I can't recall. So that was like one of the few times we competed about some serious money. I mean,
Yeah.
it paid the expenses, the travel flights, and anything, everything. So it was one time off, I guess.
Okay, I think we covered that topic pretty extensively. Do you want to talk about the plans for QHLan?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I really I like the posters that you sent me right before that. Is that for this event specifically, or you just putting stuff together? What were the posters?
They weren't for the QHLan. I was
Okay,
just digging up funny pictures from back in the days.
I think they look hilarious, man. Like they there should be like a just Quake centric meme channel on the Quake World thing. And I know there's a meme channel, but like there should be only Quake stuff and like only inside jokes that only we would get. I think a lot of people would
Yeah,
enjoy that. You'd probably get a lot of like fucking dorks just in there all day long making stuff. But
yeah.
no, that's cool, man. I
I
really
I
appreciate
guess
that.
we're missing such a channel actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Uh,
get memes. I personally don't get them. They just go right through, like in one ear, out the other, through my eyes, and out the back of my head. Like I don't get the humor. But if it's something that I take so seriously, like Quake, what was the Locktar one? I'll look at it real quick.
it was a Bullet versus Lockstar
They're
poster.
just holding each other
Uh,
in a lake.
yeah, just photoshopping in a face in on a
Back when
woman's
Locktar
body.
had hair.
Yeah, he had hair there.
Yeah.
So these were just funny pics. But I mean, I love the concept of having some kind of pre-game posters. I mean, I think it adds so much more excitement to a game, and it's so simple to do.
Yeah, just to
So why not?
have a visual. Like people click on things that have pictures. They don't. If you just send them a wall of text like QHLan 2019, this time, this date. Like they're not gonna click on that shit unless they see like some kind of like eye catching thing. Because it's just that every day the internet is just a scrolling wall of fucking bullshit, and and you gotta sell them on something. I totally understand. Like branding the keep was really fun. Luckily, like one of my best friends is a graphic designer, and he just like committed all this time. Like if I had to pay him for the stuff he's done, I would be broke if I had to pay his rate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun. But I like that the community kind of contributes, and that's a big thing about QHLan. Like you guys are just like, I've watched the channel, like, and I've been following you for what two how long has it been since I first reached out to you? Like 2 months. It's been a long interview waiting to happen, man. 2 3
Yeah,
months.
maybe
I don't
two
know,
months.
but yeah, and it was just so exciting to kind of see how it all came together and see you guys like, okay, well, where are we gonna do it? Like, oh, there's a building in Silkburg, and it's cost this amount of money. Can we swing that? Yeah, we can do that. Like, can we rent computers? Like, yeah, there's a place right around the street you can rent computers and all this. And man, I can't. I wish fucking America. It's not like we don't have the resources. We're supposed to be like the fucking leaders of the free world and all that shit, but we can't fucking get a QuakeLan together.
But you heard about the Brazilian guys? They succeed in doing it.
They're kicking ass down there
They're
too. Yeah.
the quadrocopter filming it from the sky at a nice Adobe hacienda, with a pool and the barbecuing with their QuakeWorld computers next to it. It looks cool. What I'm trying to say is it's cool that it pops up. I
Yeah.
mean, it's also in the Brazilian scene and Latin America scene is a bit coming to life, I guess. So I see a bright future for QuakeWorld, actually.
I do too. And so the more I think about it, so like the South American scene, I can't imagine they're all like just the rich people. And you know, the economy and politics around South America, and I'm not here to talk about that. I would say that uh, anywhere that's not, you know, Europe or North America or like Korea, you're not going to see computing power and internet just structure the way we do, that we take for granted. And I would imagine that these older games like QuakeWorld and Doom and things like that are very much more. They're just more playable, and that gives the incentive first of all to try these games out. And then they just have good taste, obviously, because they're playing the best game of all time. So can't take that away from them.
Right.
But I'm really like, so what is your like level of involvement? I know I've already said you're the head of the fucking Voltron force and all that, but getting an event like this together, how many years in a row have y'all done QHLan? Like 10 years now? I know it's like bi-yearly. So,
I I haven't been. I've been more involved in QHLans.
Mhm.
My first one was maybe 2002 or
Mhm.
something like that.
Oh
But
man.
back then, I wasn't serious. I was just an attendee sitting quiet in my corner, and it's been growing ever since. And I must say, I shouldn't take this much credit as you give me because of adminning QHLan. What I've been doing is like writing news posts and
Yeah.
stuff, simpler stuff like that,
Yeah.
that I can do from home. It's always been a couple of um, fiery souls.
Mhm.
That word, the guys that really does it,
Give them
the
credit.
main
Yeah.
admin. They've been
Absolutely.
wasting their time or putting in the hours to make things happen. They should get all the praise for that. I'm just helping them with whatever they need, especially in graphics and stuff like that,
Let's
because
put it
that's what
this.
I do.
Okay, we'll call you the face. Like, you know, there's the people doing the actual work, and then there's the guy who has to like, you're the voice of it, you know. And
All
it's,
right.
yeah, we'll say that. Your Voltron's vocal cords.
All right. I'm fine with that.
All right, we found a good analogy for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys have planned this year? So is it a 4v4 tournament? Obviously a dual tournament. Is Jahar going to
Yeah.
be there? Like, I want to know.
Was that a question? If it's going to be there?
Is he going to be there? I haven't had any news from him.
It looks good, is what I can say.
God, he's
It
my
looks
hero.
good for you. I cannot tell for sure.
I
And that is what I hear from many people. They're waiting to get a word from their company if they
yeah.
can get free and so on. And the same goes for Ande. He's waiting for something to sign up. So that is good. And about the tournament part, we're gonna host tournaments in 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and 4-on-4 this time.
Yeah.
And everybody has opinions about how much of each and which one should be the primary, and because each iteration of the LANs previously, there's always critique in retrospect, like it was too much 1-on-1 and we never had got to play 4-on-4. That's the most common one. And that is applicable to the most recent version as well. 4-on-4 is oftentimes stripped off because of time. Time runs out. So we're trying to listen to that, and we'll of course try to give 4-on-4 at least as much time as the other modes this time.
Yeah. It's definitely hard. I mean, first of all, 20-minute matches, you're talking like 2 out of 3 maps. I mean, you could blow a whole day, maybe 2, trying to get people together. And it's also like managing. That's my personal reason why I gravitate towards Duel over any other mode in any game, is just because like I don't want to sit here for 45 minutes waiting on somebody to get their configs right and be ready, or like, I gotta, it's so many moving parts, but when it does happen, it's beautiful, and obviously it's worth putting the time into. So I'll be excited to watch all that, man.
Yeah.
QHLan 2017 was like amazing. If you guys do better than that, like, maybe you're right, man. There's a really bright future for QuakeWorld if you guys can keep this in the public eye.
Yeah, I feel it in my stomach. It can be made even better with quite small, what's the word? Whatever. It's just finding the right persons, planning the right things, just doing it. It's not we need a lot of money. It's just a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, one of the admins now has stepped down because of life issues. So, and that is one of the core admins of QHLan 2019, unfortunately. So the other of us need to step up, and hopefully we can get some other guys on board. And it's actually not that planned, everything, because we got the web page up pretty early, which is great. Usually it comes up 2 weeks before or something like that. This time we were in great shape. But regarding the price distribution or tournament planning, we haven't been able to decide yet, because we want to see how many are coming, which kind of people are coming. Are the jewelers coming, or are the teams coming? Or is it to spread out to form teams? Then maybe we should do a draft tournament instead of a clan tournament. So it all kind of depends. And I'm not worried about that. It's going to solve itself in some way. Yeah, even if it's fixed at the start of the LAN. I mean, it all... Here's the shopper again. You can't hear that?
No, I can't hear anything.
Something's going on. All right.
Military invasion, dude. No, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of like anything else that. Yeah, you said you wanted to keep this interview short. So if there's any like closing statements, you want to get back to your life, just like, what do you have to pass on to a young person, maybe who's just wants to try out QuakeWorld? Like what? Sell the game. Sell your passion to the world. Yeah.
So I'm really want to talk about this QHLan coming up in Denmark. I'm looking forward to it. I think we have a lot of great players already signed up, and I think and hope that even more will come. It will be like a rejuvenation of both the active best players and some old school guys showing up. I shouldn't say names, so I won't. But I think it will be a great gathering. We have a great venue, which we get to rent for free. So that means that the entry fee, which is very low, all of this money goes into prize pools or other good stuff that we haven't decided yet. Maybe the rentals will cost a little bit. Then we can use from this money and so on. Anyway, the event I think will be great. Also, another part of it is that after the tournaments, there's going to be 1.5 or at least 1 day off. It's just a clear schedule. where you can. Nothing is organized, nothing is planned, so you get to either go out into the sun and take a swim with your QuakeWorld friends, or you can sit inside the dark and just play all day, whatever you want. Maybe we organize another tournament in another game mode that we haven't mentioned yet, but we'll just see. What I'm getting at is it's nice to have a bit of free time, because these LANs always, it gets very cramped, stressed. Yeah. People need to be awake like for 18 hours straight waiting for someone to get ready with their match. It's very stressful, tiring, and so on. So we're very much working on the scheduling part. I think that will be great. Also, another thing is the Warzone trophy will be back. This can be read on the website, of course, but it's a nice prize that our friend Warzone creates. It's a steel trophy, very nice looking quad trophy. So it will be awarded to the most entertaining player of his opinion. He's the sole judge of that prize. That is nice. Also, regarding the coverage, we were very happy with the coverage of 2017, and I heard a lot of positive comments about it. And as I mentioned before, it's not that, of course, it's a big effort for the streamers getting studio gear into there. We had an audio guy. We had a lot of things that don't catch your eye on the stream, but there's a lot of work behind it. So beyond that, I think we can get a lot more production value into the stream with pretty little effort. Like I can spend a lot of time creating assets and graphics and posters, and we can make a great stream, because QuakeWorld streams are very basic. It's just the game and a voice. That's it. There's no intermissions, no intros, no cool sound effects. I've been watching a lot of other game streams like Counter-Strike Masters, and I love watching Counter-Strike competitively because of the production value. It's so nice animations. They have cameras flying around the arenas. It's very enjoyable. And I would like to create the same atmosphere for QuakeWorld. Even if we're like a hobby organization, is always going to be that amateur-wise, but we can do the best we can, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought that the previous event, though, it would be cool to have like a camera pan around the room, or like have the two duelers sitting across from each other, like you see at QuakeWorld, things like that. But what I thought was really interesting was a lot of effort really clearly went into that stream. My tournaments have always just been kind of like, here's the event, here's the bracket, and then here's the game going on. It's all you can do online. But I really enjoyed even the player stats, the breakdowns, like, here's, Locktar, here's Milton, and Recall, like the picture of them, and here's their age and how long they've been playing, and some of their accolades, their play style, like all that stuff really makes it feel more like a sport. If you're selling it to an audience, like it makes it feel like, okay, like I have something to go on here. Here's some background information. Here's, a connection to the people that I'm watching that are actually, behind the screen. That's all fucking wonderful, dude. And I think you guys you're kicking the shit out of us. So I hope to one day do something similar, but we'll see where we get.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I mean, that was like the first time we really tried to make it better than just only improvised.
Yeah.
We had a couple of thoughts about what should we do. We had a thought, let's take a player photograph of all potential finalists when signing into the LAN. We had a photographer dedicated on taking their wall, the mugshot.
Yeah.
Because maybe later in the tournament they're going to be in a semifinal and we will need this photo. We thought before it happened.
Yeah.
That never happened before on the LAN. QuakeWorld.
That must suck too, if you're like walking in there and you're feeling really good about yourself and they're like, okay, we're taking pictures of what we think will be the finalists, and you don't get picked, and you're like, oh, come on. Trying to like photobomb it.
I think mostly it's because, it's coming like 60 people at random times. You don't know when people show up, so it's just take as many photos as you can. Maybe you're going to miss somebody. It was just so much random factor in a LAN startup.
Yeah. No, dude, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I'm really sorry that it took me so long to get it done, but like the schedule and everything.
No
It's what it
worries
is.
at all.
All right.
Thank you too. It was nice talking to you.
Appreciate
Great
it, bro.
chat.
Nux.
Nox.
Take care.
You too.
Hope you enjoyed that conversation with BPS as much as I enjoyed having it. He was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Hope to talk to you again in the future. All right, if you like the music that you heard just then and before the interview, that was Igrac Simon, IGRACSIMON. You can find him on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the episode notes, and hopefully you go check his music out and enjoy it, because I very much do, and that's why we featured some of it on the podcast. And by the way, he made that especially for this podcast, so huge thanks to him, and keep it real, brother. The website. So we have the website up. You can just click on the website link from now on, and you'll get all the social media links instead of me listing it all off, and the support links and the, like if you want to find our Twitch page, all that stuff. It's just a one-stop shop. And also you can listen to the podcast on there. If you are listening on YouTube and you would prefer to be listening on, like, I don't know, Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or whatever, know that you can do that. That does exist, and I would like to invite you to please use that route if you prefer. And you can just hit the subscribe button and get all the future podcasts and everything. And go back and check out the library, because we've had a lot of really amazing guests on this show so far. This is only episode 10. Holy crap. There's so many more episodes to go. Like, this boat is going to keep on rolling. I hope you guys know that. With that said, talking about the support links, we have the PayPal and the Amazon affiliate link. Definitely check those out. And Patreon. If you guys are interested in Patreon, if anyone here uses Patreon, I would like to make a special offer to our audience. Currently, the show is only on the 1st and the 15th of every month. That's when I publish it. If you would like to have more content, if you would like to have more in the keep in your life, what we're asking is, if we can get up to $25 a month, that's just enough to cover basically the expenses of podcast production. That's it. No one's making a profit off this. It's not about that. It's about community and funding it without it costing any one person all that money. $25 a month, and we'll switch to doing weekly episodes. We'll release an episode every single week instead of having it, that bi-weekly or twice a month schedule. Just something to keep in mind. Let your friends know, all that good shit. And obviously the best way to support, as always, is just tell your friends. And, like, review, subscribe, all that good shit. That's what's important. Tell your people. Tell everybody you know. In the Keep is awesome. If you enjoy this podcast and you'd like to hear other ones similar to it, I don't know, on your drive to work or when you're taking a shit, whatever you do, you can go check out Full Tech Podcast. That's a good one to listen to on the shitter, Smango. Love you, buddy. No, Smango is the host of Full Tech Podcast. Generally about, computer gaming, PC gaming, retro gaming, all that good shit. You can check him out on QuakeFans.net. You can find him in the Keep. Also, KentuckyNerd.com. And his YouTube channel, QuakeFans. Go give him a shout. Tell him Mother Load sent you. Give him a big kiss when you see him. Also, there's the QuakeCast that's hosted by Dump Truck and RC. Dump Truck is from the Quake mapping community. RC is a YouTube streamer, and he does the Quake Grave, which is really interesting. You should definitely go check that out. Most of all, check out their podcast, the QuakeCast. It's all about Quake. So, I don't know if you're listening to this show and you wouldn't be interested in that. I don't know what to tell you. They had some amazing guests. I was one of them, and most recently, Messiah of the U.S. Quake community made an appearance on their show. I definitely recommend you go check that one out. Let's see, events. Already talked about it a lot, but just in case you were wondering, QuakeWorld QHLan 2019. It's going to be in Silkeborg, Denmark, August 29th through September the 3rd. If you're in Europe, man, and you're not going to that, you're losing your damn mind. Or you just have a job that prevents you from doing it, or don't have the money. But if you do, go hang out with those motherfuckers. You get to meet BPS. You get to meet Locktar and Milton and Recall and Jahar and all that shit. Like, it's going to be amazing. Why would you not go? Go do that. For North Americans who can't make it to Europe, QuakeCon 2019, July 25th through 29th. I'll definitely be there. And I really look forward to meeting all of you guys there and meeting everybody, like all my friends and stuff. It's going to be a really fun time. It's going to be weird, though, like after E3, you saw the Year of Doom and the Doom Con. I don't know, man. I really want Quake to be at QuakeCon, and there will be if I'm there. Like, I'm going to play Quake regardless, but we'll see what happens. Also, a new thing for the Keep, we're having Dusk.World dual pools every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, hosted by Bran Flakes. She is the queen of the clifftop, the Duchess of Dusk.World, and she is hosting your dual pool. So go be in the Keep on Saturday nights and boot up Dusk.World, get some frags in, have a good time. Also, the US Quake community, all the time, weekly events. Let's see, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you can go get your QuakeWorld in. They do like tandem, TDM, and FFA stuff, and I'll probably be branching off into new things as we go forward. Also, you can get, Wednesdays and many other days of the week, pretty much whenever Nationwide feels like it. You're going to be playing some awesome co-op and like Doom. And what else is Nationwide? What are you doing, man? Why don't I have your exact schedule? Point being, Nationwide hosts Doom, DM, and co-op events all week long. Just if you're in the US Quake community, or just join their Discord channel, you'll get all that information, and I won't have to explain it to you on this show. And also, all their events start at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you heard the last episode, you heard all about Master Arena. If you didn't hear the last episode, first of all, go out and listen to it. But also know that Master Arena, if you are a big fan of Unreal Tournament, but you're frustrated as hell with the fact that Unreal Tournament has gone down the shitter because Epic Games is too busy making fucking Fortnite, Master Arena is a brand new AFPS game. It's been in development for quite a while, and it is going to continue to be developed to be better. Highly recommend you check it out, because if you like Unreal Tournament and you're looking for something new to play that's refreshing and has a little bit different movement feel to it, but essentially is catering towards that community, I would definitely recommend you go check out Master Arena. You go back and listen to that podcast with Albert Adekalam, and you have a goddamn great time. Peace out. Stay in the Keep.